Fillmore, you're getting a little flabby around the midsection there. I believe it is your patriotic duty to do a little exercise.
Easy there, Professor.
In fact, Fillmore, do you realize what year this is?
It's leap year.
No, it's the year of the Olympics. A year when men and women in top physical condition turn out and pit their strength and skill in various competitions to capture the most treasured of all prizes.
What's that, Professor?
The laurel wreath. I can see it now, Feldman. The color, the pageantry, the cheers of the crowd as the winner crosses the finish line. And do you know who that winner is?
No, Waldo. Who is that winner?
You, Fillmore, you are that winner.
But, Professor, I don't think I'm the athletic type.
Nonsense, Fillmore. You're just a little bit out of condition, but with me as your trainer, we'll have you in running size in no time at all.
I don't know, Professor.
First of all, you will have to give up blowing that bugle.
Blowing my bugle?
Yes, it's gotten to be a habit. Then we'll put you on a diet, 1 carrot a day and a glass of water.
But, Professor, I don't like carrots.
So Waldo put Fillmore through a vigorous training program to prepare him for the Olympic Games.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sure enough, through Waldo's diet of 1 carrot a day and plenty of exercise and giving up bugle blowing, Fillmore didn't lose any weight, but he was very tired.
Fillmore, you are down to running size. And not only that, you have given up the bugle-blowing habit.
I had to give up the bugle-blowing habit. I don't have enough to blow it.
Think of the laurel wreath, Fillmore. Now the event in which you will excel is the 100-yard dash. There now, on your mark, get set, go! That's it, boy! Pull! Pull! Pull!
How did I do, Waldo?
Now, let's see. 2 minutes and 53 seconds. I'll tell you, Fillmore, that was pretty good for a first try, but I think maybe we'd better try the hurdles. Well, I guess we can forget about the hurdles.
Maybe we could forget about the whole thing, Professor. Where's my bugle?
Oh, never say die, Fillmore. We still haven't tried the field events. The broad jump. Now, the one thing to remember about the discus, Fillmore, is that it's all form. Just watch me. The one thing to remember about the discus is to let go of it. Well, so much for that. A little too dangerous for you, Fillmore.
Still undaunted, Waldo had Fillmore try the pole vault event.
Where have I failed? Where have I failed?
Maybe I'm just not cut out to be a track man, Waldo.
But, Fillmore, you would have been the first bear to win a laurel wreath. Don't you understand? You would have been a credit to your species.
But, Waldo, there's not many bears who play the bugle.
Yes, thank heavens for that.
What's the matter, fellas?
Waldo's dejected because I couldn't pole vault over that bar up there.
Oh, that?
Yes, you see, Hoppity, I've been training Fillmore all week to be a great track man, and... Hoppity, where is he, Fillmore?
I don't know, Professor. He was here a minute ago. He just jumped and...
That's it! He jumped! He not only jumped over the bar, he did it without a pole, and he jumped right out of the stadium. Do you realize that we have the greatest jumper of all time here, Fillmore? The only problem is, where the devil did he jump to?
Just where did Hoppity jump to? Tune in to the next episode, Look Before You Leap, or it don't mean a thing if you ain't got that spring.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for an important message from our sponsor. Watch.
We'll return to up.
In our last episode, if you were paying attention, Fillmore was a complete flop as an Olympic track star.
Where have I failed? Where have I failed?
But when Hoppity tried to show him how to clear the bar of the pole vault, a bird swooped down and snatched him and carried him out of the stadium. In fact, the bird carried him all the way to Boise, Idaho, before it dropped him off on the outskirts of town.
I can't understand what happened to Hoppity. He was here a minute ago.
Yeah, he was standing right there, and then he jumped and disappeared. That's very unusual.
Well, it's very odd. He was there 1 minute, and the next minute, poof, no Hoppity.
Hello. Yes. Yes. So, just a minute. Hold on, please. That's for you, Professor.
Oh, thank you, Fillmore. Hello? Isn't that a coincidence? We were just talking about you. Where in the world are you? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, that's ridiculous, Hoppity. How did you get there?
Well, I jumped and...
Hoppity's in Boise, Idaho. It says he jumped there. He jumped there? Stay right there, Hoppity. We'll come and get you. Do you know what Hoppity has just done? He's jumped from Madison, Wisconsin to Boise, Idaho, and he didn't even use a pole.
The winner of the pole vault event with the new world record. Just a minute, they are going to measure it again so that there can be no mistake. Yes, here it is, folks. A new world record of 27 miles, 14 feet, and 6½ inches.
And he didn't even use a pole. Fillmore, we've got to take the first train to Boise, Idaho. We are about to manage the greatest living athlete the world has ever seen. What are you doing all cramped up in that phone booth, Hoppity?
Well, you told me to stay right here.
How are those legs, boy? All cramped up in that phone booth. Don't just stand there, Fillmore. Carry him.
But I can walk all right.
Nonsense, my boy. Do you want to ruin a pair of $1,000,000 frog legs? Tell me, how did you manage a jump like that?
Well, I just jumped, see, and this big bird came along
Yes, I imagine you saw a lot of interesting birds on your jump to Boise. Isn't that just like a true athlete, Fillmore? Unpretentious, unassuming, modestly talking about the birds he saw on the greatest jump in history?
But this huge bird, oh, it was horrible.
Now the first thing, Hoppity, is training. You must get to bed early, get plenty of sleep.
There it is!
There what is?
A giant bird!
I do think that jump has affected Hoppity's brain. I think, Hoppity, you have a mild case of the bends going up that high in the sky.
You didn't see the bird?
Of course we didn't, because there is no bird. It's just a figment of your imagination.
Hoppity was not able to convince Waldo that he really didn't jump all the way to Boise, Idaho, that he was carried there by a big bird. And so Waldo started to train Hoppity for the Olympic Games.
Come on, Hoppity, jump. Please, just a little jump.
But the bird, the big giant bird.
Fillmore, we have to get Hoppity over this obsession he has about seeing a big bird.
Yeah, maybe if I blow my bugle.
Confound you, Fillmore. You've just given him added traumas, as if we don't have enough to worry about with his bird fixation. Now, look, Hoppity, it's easy. Just watch me. You just take a little run, and then...
I told him, the giant bird's got Waldo.
And so, finally, Waldo began to wonder if Hoppity's story about a giant bird might possibly have some truth in it. Where is the giant bird taking Waldo? Back to Boise, Idaho. Tune in to our next episode. Waldo, Waldo, wherefore art thou, Waldo? Or Wigglesworth visits Birdland. Our last episode had Waldo teaching Hoppity how to jump, which is rather like bringing coals to Newcastle.
Look, Hoppity, it's easy. Just watch me. You'll just take a little run and...
But in the middle of Waldo's jump, a giant bird swooped down and spirited him away.
I told him, the giant bird's got Waldo.
And Waldo began to wonder if Hoppity's story about a giant bird might possibly have some truth in it.
You don't exist. You don't exist. You are a figment of my imagination. But you're the biggest figment I've ever seen. Say, Big Bird, why do you do that?
Do what?
Go around flying off with people like that?
Strange you should ask.
What?
Well, just the other day, somebody asked me the same question.
It does come to mind, you know.
I guess I just never really thought much about it in that light before.
This is not only a giant bird, this is a giant gnat.
I've always done it, really. Ever since I was just a little old fledgling, I started out with the little things, bugs, grasshoppers. But as I got older, things just started getting bigger and bigger, and I just couldn't stop. I couldn't kick the habit.
Well, you're a bird with a problem, all right. If I could break you of that habit, will you help me find Hoppity and Fillmore?
Would I? Anything? Anything, sir. If you only knew how I tried. What can I do?
It's all in your mind, Big Bird. Just repeat over and over. Big birds do not grab people. It is not a nice thing to do.
Has a catchy ring, don't it? Big birds do not grab people. It is not a nice thing to do. Yes. Big birds do not grab people.
Meanwhile, Hoppity and Fillmore started out in search of Waldo. However, they had no idea in the world as to where to go.
Fillmore, if you were a bird, where would you go?
Boise, Idaho.
So Hoppity and Fillmore went to Boise, Idaho, where they searched high and low, mostly low.
Pardon me, sir. Have you seen a fox with spats and a cane accompanied by a rather large bird?
Get out of here!
Well, at least one thing we know. They're not in Boise, Idaho.
So Hoppity and Fillmore continued to search for Waldo, not knowing that at the same time Waldo and the big bird were searching for them.
Fly up a little higher so I can get a better look.
We've been to 337 towns, Fillmore, and not a trace of Waldo.
They say
And just when I was starting to get the hang of pole vaulting, too. Fasten your seatbelt, Fillmore. They've sounded the alarm.
that was me, Hoppity.
Why did you blow your bugle at 30,000 feet, Fillmore?
Because Waldo and that big bird are right outside the window.
Where?
Strange, I could have sworn I heard a trumpet. You don't suppose you've flown a little too high, do you, bird? That's Fillmore. I could tell that sound anywhere. Fillmore, where are you, boy?
Hey, Hoppity.
Fillmore, you're not going to start with that nonsense all over again, are you?
But Waldo just went by the window. He even tipped his hat to me.
Big Bird! Big Bird! I'm falling! Catch me, Big Bird! Big Bird, grab me!
Big birds do not grab people. Big birds do not grab people. Oh, I don't know how to thank you, Professor.
What?
For helping me to break my habit. I have no desire at all to swoop down and grab people. And I owe it all to you.
Just me, Big Bird! Grab me!
Oh, no. One grab leads to another. And then the next thing you know, I'd have the habit again.
Just this one!
Has Professor Waldo really broken the big bird's habit of swooping down and grabbing people? And if he has, what will happen to Waldo? Don't miss our next episode, Big Bird is Watching You, or How's That Grab Ya?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for an important message from our sponsor. Watch.
In our last episode, Hoppity and Fillmore were searching for Waldo and the Big Bird. And Waldo and the Big Bird were searching for Hoppity and Fillmore. When it looked as though they were finally going to be reunited, 30,000 feet in the air, Waldo lost his footing and...
Hey, Hoppity.
Fillmore, you're not going to start with that nonsense all over again, are you?
But Waldo just went by the window. He even tipped his hat to me.
Big Bird! Big Bird, I'm falling! Catch me, Big Bird! Grab me, Big Bird!
But Waldo had broken the bird of the habit of swooping down and grabbing people.
Big birds do not grab people. Big birds do not grab people. Oh, I don't know how to thank you, Professor, for helping me to break my habit. I have no desire at all to swoop down and grab people. And I owe it all to you.
Just me, Big Bird! Grab me!
But nothing Waldo could say would make the big bird take up the habit again.
You say there was a fox who pole vaulted out of sight this morning?
Yes, sir. He just seemed to take off.
I can't accept that.
Look, here he comes now.
You're not hurt, are you?
Of course not. How could anybody get hurt after falling 30,000 feet?
30,000 feet? Now, I don't want to get your hopes up because I still have to check the old record books. But I think you may have broken something.
And I think I broke my leg.
No. I mean, I think you have broken the world's record. Doesn't that make you feel wonderful?
I feel terrible.
Listen, with a vault like that, I think we have a good chance to take the pole vault event in the Olympics.
Well, I don't know. With those new glass poles.
Nonsense! I don't care what kind of poles they use. 30,000 feet is going to be pretty hard to beat. Say, Fox, how would you like to be our entry in the pole vault event in the Olympics?
Not very much.
Why not?
Well, that was the first time I tried it, and I didn't like it very much.
But you owe it to your country. Why, with a little training, we may even have you jumping 30,000 feet, 11.5 inches. Did you ever think of that?
I wish I'd never started this whole Olympics business in the first place.
So the Olympic Committee put Waldo into training. They had him do push-ups, sit-ups, knee bends, elbow bends, bicycle, and many other exercises too numerous to mention.
Waldo, what are you doing here?
Yeah, the last time we seen you was 30,000 feet up in the sky.
Well, this big bird, you see, it had its problems. Oh, never mind. You'd never believe it anyway.
Well, what are you doing in a tracksuit?
It seems I'm the great white hope in the pole vault event. The Olympic Committee thinks I've pole vaulted 30,000 feet in the air. Look at these papers.
Waldo Wigglesworth pole vaults 30,000 feet.
The Russians claim he was not wearing regulation shoes.
Just think of the embarrassment when they find I can't even jump 5 feet.
It's the giant bird!
Listen, Big Bird. Remember when I asked you, if I broke you of the habit of grabbing people, would you do me a favor?
Yes, yes.
Well, here is what I want you to do.
Do you think it'll work, Waldo?
Of course, with my mastery of theatrical makeup, it can't miss. There, a little mascara here, a bit of putty there, and
And a big fake nose?
and you have my doppelganger, my boy, a facsimile of Waldo Wigglesworth.
The next contestant, Waldo Wigglesworth, will attempt to pole vault 15.5 feet. This is his first try.
Well, gentlemen, I think it's time to make a few changes in the pole vaulting rules.
I think it's time for us to leave. But you know, Hoppity, there's one thing I've learned from all this.
What's that, Waldo?
It's not that you won or lost, but how you play the game.
And how do you play the game?
He cheats.
We'll return to our program after these messages.
Well, folks, it's...
Hoppity, haven't you forgotten something?
Oh, yeah, wait a minute. And now, here are some scenes from our next show.
Amazing. He must have been placed there by the spirit guide, Mojambo.
Mojambo?
Yes. Oh, great Mojambo, spirit guide, will you please materialize? Ooh. Oh. That's very good, Fillmore.
That just looks like a big bear with a sheet over it to me.
Oh, the nonsense.
If it's a real ghost, let's see you walk